Apparently passwords are on their way out. I'm gonna miss them, but it's okay. Passkeys are gonna change your world. Hello everyone, Andy here, so nice to see you and a warm welcome back to my channel. I do apologise for my voice, I've got a bit of a cold at the moment, so please forgive me. On today's episode, I thought I would take a look at passkeys. Passkeys are not entirely new technology. We've seen their technology in these FIDO keys. FIDO keys have helped us go passwordless for a number of years now and are incorporated into devices like Windows and now also Macs as well. But the only problem with these, of course, is that they're small and they're easily lost. So it seems a natural transition to assume that that public-private key pair could somehow be generated using something that we all carry around with us. So on this episode, I'm going to talk about passkeys and how they're likely to evolve and, more importantly, what they can do for us. We're going to talk about exactly how they work, and I've got a nice demo for you as well. Now, questions, comments about this or any of my sessions, as always, get them down below. And as you know, I've got a Patreon site, and if you want to join that, absolutely fantastic. If you want to show me some support, I got a shout out to some members this week who have just joined us. So Shane, Bally187, Elizabeth, Mohammed, Jo, I think I got that right, Stian and Alexander. You are all so very welcome. So if you're interested in full training courses, monthly Zoom calls, and so much more, check out the Patreon site there. So I think without any further jibber jabber, I think it's about time we could take a look at these passkeys. And more importantly, the first question I have is, why do we need passkeys? Check it out. So the problem with passwords is, of course, they're based on something that you know, and anybody could know it. So if somebody steals your password, of course, then it's pretty much game over. Of course, you could have something that you have. This could be a FIDO key. And when you combine it with the likes of Windows Hello for Business, that's multi-factor authentication. You could even enhance it further using Entra ID's conditional access features. And these are absolutely awesome. So the problem with passwords, of course, is that there's a high risk of phishing and identity theft, and they're extremely easy hackable, very susceptible to rainbow tables and brute force attack. So typically the victim logs onto the computer, you have some kind of password sniffing software, some kind of phishing tool, malicious link, and the hacker intercepts the traffic and of course steals the password, and then it's pretty much game over. So this technology was originally based on FIDO2 keys from Yubico, and as you can see here, the user would typically go to a supported browser, type in the website that they want to go into, and there when they enter their username, instead of putting in a password, they would need to enter one of these FIDO keys. This combined with either a biometric, a PIN, or a facial recognition, a fingerprint, would then allow the user to log in a passwordless way. So passkeys really do change everything, simply for the fact that you don't need to carry one of these around. But just exactly how does it work? So unlike traditional FIDO keys, passkeys are built into all major operating systems, Windows, Mac, as well as major browsers, and they essentially allow the user to log in without a username or password, truly becoming passwordless. However, unlike passwords, which are sent over to an authenticating server, a passkey never leaves the user's device. So very similar to FIDO keys, a passkey generates two keys, a public-private key pair. The private key never leaves that user's device, such as their Windows device. The passkey is then used locally to create a cryptographic key that proves to the server that it's been created with the passkey. The passkey avoids the users having to have those FIDO keys. And as I said, it's incorporated into Windows 11 and will soon be able to manage it in Azure Active Directory or Entra ID. And as you can see, it's already being integrated into the likes of Windows 11 as well as many modern browsers. But exactly how does it work? So passkeys work like this. When the user signs into their device, for example, a Windows 11 machine, and they register for a passkey, it generates a public and private key pair. This is exactly the same technology as a FIDO2 key. Essentially, the private key never leaves that device, but the public key is shared with the relaying party server. So when the user signs in and tries to authenticate, the private key requires a gesture, and in this case, it has to be a biometric gesture, so a facial recognition or a fingerprint generated by Windows Hello. So the public key is compared with the public key on the relaying party server to determine whether this person is indeed the person who's logging in. If it is, of course, the authentication is passed and the user is authenticated. So now you know what it is, let's take a look at it working. So a great example you can find at passkeys.io. So I'm simply logging in here and I'm signing up and I'm creating an account. So once I've created my account, it then says, hey, do you want to go and create a passkey? So do you want to create a passkey for your computer, for a mobile device, for a USB stick? So in this example, I'm going to create one for my mobile device. So I'm just using my phone and I'm taking a scan. And of course, it's storing that. It's validating me by using a biometric, something that I am, as well as something that I have, aka my phone. So it goes and it creates the key pair, and as you can see, it stores the key pair or the private key on my desktop. Now the next thing is, hey, what about a key for the actual desktop itself? Well, absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to say, yep, I want to create another passkey here, and this time I want to create it for my desktop machine. So I'm going to click on continue, and this time, because I'm using a Mac, I'm using my fingerprint to authenticate myself for a truly multi-factor experience. And as you can see, I have now gone ahead and generated my passkeys, and my private key is stored within the keychain in my Mac. And should I now wish to use that, it's simply a case of, hey, okay, let's go ahead and sign in. And instead of using a password rather, I can simply click continue, or I can sign in with a passkey. So I click on my passkey, select the passkey that I want, aka the one that's on my computer, and I'm going to use my fingerprint, and hey ho, I'm authenticated. So I suppose the big question is where and how passkeys are going to manifest themselves in the likes of Entra ID for admin support. Well, this is my take on it. So for this one, I simply come into the Entra Admin Center. I'm going to expand on protection, and I'm coming down here into authentication methods. Now here in the authentication methods, you can see that we've actually had FIDO keys here for quite some time, and these of course are the FIDO physical keys. In addition, you can also manage with the likes of MFA with the Microsoft Authenticator, as well as some other features. Now, things like the voice call and text messaging, I honestly don't know how long that will survive, because they're, in my opinion, they're not as secure as some of these other methods. But certainly the FIDO keys are very, very secure, and definitely these are phishing resistant, and it's actually classed as phishing resistant multi-factor authentication, mainly because you need a physical device. So the hacker would have to have physical access, and this makes it quite difficult. Now, so my predictions are that this FIDO2 key menu here, this will change to passkeys in the not too distant future, and as well as the physical keys, it will also support passkeys based on mobile devices and other devices, which we're starting to see in Windows 11. So there you have it, passkeys. Do you think they'll be the death of passwords? I would love to know what you think. Please get your comments and questions down below. Now, if you enjoyed the session, please bump the like button. It does make a difference to the channel. And that's it for today. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. You take care. Hey, thanks so much for dropping by today. Here's a couple of videos that you may enjoy, and while you're here, go ahead, click on the subscribe button and you won't miss out.